Welcome back to the Midnight Soup Pod. I'm your host, Emily, and I thought we would pick up where we left off discussing Sparkle Quest. And a lot of you seem to be resonating with this. A lot of you seem to be kind of in a similar place where you're feeling dull, you're kind of in a rut, you're kind of feeling like you just lost your sparkle a little bit. And so I feel like we're kind of on this journey together. And in my last episode, I was talking about how there was this time in my life when I was at a sparkle peak, let's say. And I was manifesting a lot of really big stuff. I was up-leveling my self-worth. I was feeling so true to myself, so authentic to myself. I was advocating for myself. I was just in this really good space. And I was very sparkly. And one of the methods that I used to get into this place was using characters to sort of method act a little bit, to cosplay as a little bit. And these characters had like certain similar elements that I have inside my own personality, but they were just feeling like dormant, and I needed a little bit of encouragement to bring them to the surface. So today, I've chosen new characters. New character alert! We have new characters, and I'm really excited. It's really fun. This is really, if you haven't tried this yet, just give it a go. Just give it a go. What's it gonna hurt? It's a fun game. You choose your players. It's like life is a game. You know what I mean? You choose your players. I'm going to be this person. I'm going to wear this outfit. I'm going to dance to this song. Do. It's like back in the good old days. In, late 90s, early 2000s computer game time. There was like this Barbie game where I could like do my Barbie's makeup. I could pick her outfit. Like, I'm in charge here, right? I am my own god, and I get to design my own avatar and character. And that's what we're doing here. It's just, let's make it a game. Let's have a little fun with it, because why the hell not? Okay? Like, what's even going on? I don't know. But I think we could all use just a little teaspoon of disassociation. Just a little ounce of delusion to get us through these trying, unprecedented times. Part 25. Anyways, so I've chosen new characters. So let's talk about them. So number one, we've got Doechii. She is bold. She is creative. She is fearless. She has this sort of unfiltered self-expression, and she trusts it, and she goes with it, and she's making shit happen because of that. And a lot of us have seen by now, because it's kind of trending, that about 5 years ago, Doechii documented herself doing the artist's way. And if you don't know what the artist's way is, do I have the book here? Where is it? Hang on a second. Where are you? Where are you? Where the hell is it? If you're watching the video, I was going to show you the book because I have it, but I can't find it. I think it's in my car. If you haven't heard of The Artist's Way, it's a book by Julia Cameron, written, I believe, in the 90s. And it's marketed for artists, creatives who are feeling creatively stuck, who are feeling like they have some sort of a creative block, and it's made to help them get through that. But it's a method of manifestation, and it's not just for artists. I believe that everyone is creative in some way or another. I think this book is for everyone. And so she documented herself doing the artist's way, and now she's a Grammy winner. Okay? 5 years later, she won a Grammy. And for doing something very out of the box, very different, very unique, and very authentic and true to herself. So I was doing like a little bit of a deep dive into some of these older Doechii videos, and I really resonated with the way that she talks about her creative process and her creative plights. And she has this one video where she's talking about how sometimes she feels inadequate, but she realized that those feelings of inadequacy they only arise when she's comparing herself or when she's perceiving how other people are perceiving her creativity and what she's putting out in the world and how quickly she's moving. And she also asks herself, if there was no audience, if nobody was watching me, and by audience, like not necessarily, like a digital audience or whatever, even like people in her world, like family, friends, just people within the world that are observing her. If there was none of that, would she be creating in the same way? And she asks herself that question, and the answer is like, well, no. I wouldn't be intentionally trying to impress. I would be creating in a way that feels just authentic to me and what feels best to me. The instinct to create is innate. She also says that she kind of sometimes worries about others' perceptions. Like in a newer interview, she was talking about how she was kind of afraid of her own honesty, and she was afraid that what she was putting out there with this new music she created that really, sent her crazy into the masses, was that she was being too much. It was too honest. It was just like too out there. But she knew that somebody else out there was going to be experiencing this and understanding this. And she just felt like it was something she just had to do. She had to put it out there. And that, when you're a creative person that's putting something out there, it's really hard not to consider what others' perceptions of you might be, and to worry about how what you're putting out into the world is going to be perceived. And there is such a deep fear that I have, and I know a lot of other people have, of being misunderstood. And I think in order to really create great art and impactful art and art that inspires people in any capacity, whether it's music, whether it's paint, whether it's content, whether it's, writing, whatever. If you want to create great art, I think to do that, you have to be okay with being misunderstood, because truthfully, no matter what you do in the world, someone is going to be committed to misunderstanding you, especially in the world of social media. There is just, it's impossible to have everyone understand, your life experience, where you're coming from with this perspective and this piece of art, and what you mean by it and what you're trying to say by it. It's impossible for everybody to understand that. And people are going to misunderstand you as a person. People are going to misunderstand what you're putting out into the world, what you're producing. And look, I have so many weird little ideas that I learned a long time ago. Don't discuss until you have something that's like physical and tangible, and that people can see the whole picture and can really conceptualize. Don't share those fragile ideas and inspirations you get right away. Like give that some time, work on that. Because if I sat here and said to you, hey, I have this idea, I want this honky-tonk fabulous toad woman, and she loves old honky-tonk, she loves Waylon, she loves Dolly, she has a friend named Rhonda who's a possum, and she's my alter ego. And if I sat here and said that to you, a lot of you would be like, you know what, hell yeah. But a lot of you would be like, what are you on? And I'm not understanding. What are you talking about? But that was my idea for my Etsy shop, Madame Toad. She's kind of like an alter ego. And she's also based off of a lot of characters like that I used for my examples in Sparkle Quest, which were like Dolly Parton and the Toad from Thumbelina. She's like a mishmash of these different characters that... I'm getting a little too deep here with this, but what I'm trying to say is that not everyone's going to understand not everyone's going to understand. And your job is not to go around trying to correct people and have them perceive you the way you want to be perceived. That's not your job. And if that were your job, you'd drop dead tomorrow, because that's freaking exhausting. And I don't want to do that. That sounds like it sucks. So anyways, that was a bit of a tangent, but one of the other things that Doechii had said in a more recent interview, one thing she said was, fuck the formula. She said, I don't want anything to do with the formula. I'm going to do my formula. That is what feels best to me. And I'm not going to follow any like specific set of rules of how to make an album, of how to make music. I'm going to do it the way that feels good and creatively authentic to me. And she was rewarded for that. And this last thing she said was, you doubt yourself when you have convinced yourself that something outside of you is going to get you somewhere. Hello? That one hit. It's all inside. So much of what you need to know is in here and in here. You don't need to go seeking so many answers outside of yourself and thinking, oh, this person did it this way, so I need to follow that formula. Or this is how everyone does this, so those are the steps that I have to take. No. You know internally what is best for you. So listen to that little gremlin, not the parasites. That's the wrong one. Don't listen to the parasites telling you to eat that 7th donut. But listen to the other little voice that is telling you what to do every day, every second of every day. Tune into that. Next on the roster, we've got an OG, Martha Stewart. That's right. Now, let's take it back. I'm 6 years old. I'm sitting on the couch in the middle of the day watching Martha Stewart because I didn't go to school because school's for fools. I don't have any interest in that. I'm watching Martha. Mom's bringing me a bowl of buttered noodles. Martha's teaching me how to make a triple chocolate layer raspberry cake with homemade buttercream frosting. I'm saying yes, yes, and yes. Those are all of the same decisions I would make as a 6-year-old sitting on the couch in a small town in Utah. You go, Martha. I'm on board with this. She made a very big impact on me. I've always loved Martha, but it wasn't until I watched her Netflix doc that I was like, oh my God, Martha, that inspired me in ways that I did not expect. So Martha's work ethic and discipline, and she's a multifaceted queen. Hello. She has built a multi-million-dollar empire, and based on many stereotypically feminine hobbies. She's very creative, obviously. She's reinvented herself multiple times, very successfully. And one of the biggest things that inspires me about Martha is she has impeccable, impenetrable boundaries. If Martha doesn't want to do something, she's not going to do it. And she's going to stay classy about it. She's going to say, no, thank you. But she's not going to feel bad about it. She's not going to feel bad that she said no. She's not going to likely ruminate on the fact that she said she didn't want to go to your party. She just didn't want to. She didn't feel like it. So she's also she has very high integrity. And that, as someone, to be able to say no without feeling remorse, without feeling like you have to have an excuse, as someone that is a chronic people pleaser and not even a recovering people pleaser, this is something that still plagues me every day. I'm having to work on it. I'm having to reinforce boundaries all the time. And I'm having to remind myself all the time that there's no reason to feel bad about some things maybe not for you. And that's fine. And you can say no without having to really have a reason. just because. See? I'm trying to come up with a reason right now. I don't have to have a reason. No. Sometimes I practice saying no in the mirror. Okay. And you know what? There's something else I'm sensing here. The name Martha. I have a feeling if your name's Martha, do you have really good boundaries? If your name's Martha, do you have really high integrity, personal integrity? Because there's that other Martha Beck, who talks a lot about integrity. And there's something there. So I might just name, if I have a daughter, maybe I'll name her Martha. Because fuck them. That's why. Okay. And this podcast is sponsored by me. I sponsored it. I created it. I did it. And here it is in your ears, being brought to you by me. So another one on my list. Enya. Now, Enya is someone, first of all, she's another person who has stayed true to herself and her own creativity. She is committed to her artistic integrity, and she is committed to her personal peace. Enya is someone who I think should be an inspiration for a lot of introverted people and introverted creatives and artists out there. And she has been to me because she creates music from her castle that she owns in Ireland. Yeah, that's right. Enya owns a castle in Ireland. And she loves to have people leave her the fuck alone. And she has an estimated over 90 million album sales worldwide. And guess what else? She's never played a single live show. Enya has never once done a live show. She does very minimal interviews, and yet she is a household name. Let that inspire you. You can be an introverted person. You can be an introverted musician. You can be an introverted artist. And yes, in some ways, obviously you have to get yourself out there, put yourself out there. But she is so immovable in terms of how she's going to do things. She's not someone that does things like everyone else has done them. She does not appear to follow, a formula of someone who wants to be a multi-million album selling artist. She is doing it her way. She's done it her way, and she's done it her way successfully. And she's not afraid of being abstract. She's so mystical, and she's so original in so many ways. And you wouldn't think like that her music would appeal to the masses. You wouldn't think that. But so many people, everybody knows Enya, and I don't know a single person in my life who've ever said that they don't like Enya's music. I feel like it's something across the board that people are like, even if you don't like it, I feel like you respect it. And Enya is ethereal. She is mystical. She's mysterious. She takes us on a journey with her art and her music to entering mystical worlds. And she's another boundary queen. She, as I said, she doesn't do interviews. She wants to be left alone in her castle to create. Me too, girl. And I don't know what else she does in that castle because she's very mysterious. And I think she will remain that way. Okay, last on the list, this time I chose 4 characters, 4 people. And I have Amelie. And Amelie also was very impactful on me from a young age when I saw it. And so it has this really warm, nostalgic feeling for me. But some things that inspire me about her: she's whimsical, she's playful, she's colorful. She has this childlike wonder and this curiosity about the world, and she's an observer of life. And she feels this awe and delight from seemingly like everyday mundane things. And it's just this really, she keeps this childlike magic alive, you know? And she's shy. She's kind of isolated. You know, so I can relate to her in terms of feeling like very hermity. Like I have social anxiety. I kind of can be a little bit timid sometimes. And I really want to get out and explore more and do more and see more. And she's on this journey of like learning to embrace her own desires and her own happiness. Also, her style specifically is very inspiring to me. A lot of like red and green and bright colors. And it's giving bowl of cherries. You know, it's giving croissant in the sun. Like that's what I want to feel like. And that's what I want to put out into the world too. And I want to look like that. So like, I want you to look at me and think bowl of cherries. You know what I mean? Like, look at me and think like, oui. I don't know, just like, you know, a little French flair, a little whimsy, colorful, bright, yummy. Ew. I don't like that I said that. I don't, that's fine if you do that, but I don't like to describe things that aren't food as yummy. But I'm talking about cherries, I'm talking about croissants. So, anyways, so that's where I'm at with that. That's my list. We have Doechii, Martha, Enya, and Amelie. And I'm just going to start to, take these little pieces of their personalities, weave them into my life. And I've already started to do it. I mean, I've kind of been using Amelie for fashion inspo for like a while now. And hang on a second. If you listen to the Amelie soundtrack while you're on a walk, while you're cleaning your house, while you're doing something mundane, while you're going to the grocery store, oh my God. If you're listening, any French music, if you're listening to French music while you're doing mundane tasks, hello, a little va-va-voom, a little voulez-vous coucher avec moi, a little, we're spicing it up. Oui. Ooh. Like, give me a baguette. Give me a cappuccino on the sidewalk of a French city. It's going to change things. It's going to switch things up a little bit. The vibe is instantly elevated. Pro tip. So maybe that was helpful to you. Maybe it was not. And I hope it was. Okay, so let's end the conversation with what am I reading right now? Because I have read and I'm reading a couple of really good books right now. So I had started rereading Big Magic. And if you haven't read that, definitely go read that, especially if you're someone in a creative field. Love that book, but I had to put that on the back burner because I wanted to read Dolly Alderton's Good Material. And let me just say, like, she is exactly the kind of writer that I have been craving. Like, she's so witty. She, writes about, specifically in Good Material, just like such real life emotions and experiences, but in such like a fun, light, and engaging way. And I really loved this book. It's about this like 35-year-old male comedian who gets dumped, and it's from his perspective as though he's like, kind of just writing a diary. It's in first person. And I'm just obsessed with it. Like, I just finished it last night and I'm upset, honestly. I'm upset that it's over, and I'm going to check out her other books, but especially if you listen to audiobooks, there's so many boring narrators out there that I just cannot get behind. And I love an audiobook because I'm doing many different things at once. And sometimes I have a hard time like sitting down and reading a book. And so I love to be able to like crochet or clean when I'm listening to an audiobook. The narrator on this is like so good. Like, that is serious talent to be able to narrate a book like that. And I just love it. I just love the book. And it might not be for everyone. I like when I was reading the reviews, someone was like, oh, just a, 30-something-year-old man whining about his ended relationship. But I don't know. I just loved it. I thought it was great. Second book I'm reading. A lot of you, I had put out on Instagram that I was I'm doing it. I'm writing a novel. And it's like a contemporary romance kind of situation, but it's moving very slowly. So I put out just the question of like, does anyone have recommendations for like books I can read or like workshops or like something I can look at to figure out how to even write a book? And I got so many people saying to read Bird by Bird by Anne Lamott. And it's so good. Like there's a couple times she's had me just like laughing out loud. She's an insanely good writer. And she really breaks down the writing process in a way that is just very digestible and also engaging. It's not like, textbook. So if you like this podcast, feel free to subscribe to my Substack, Midnight Soup. You can check it out on my YouTube at Emily Earthing, where I have the video versions of the podcast, as well as my Substack. You can find me on TikTok at Madam Toad and on Instagram at emily.earthing. And I also have an Etsy shop, which is called Madam Toad as well. And I'm going to start to add some more stuff there. And you can also find the podcast on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And if you have any suggestions for topics or things you'd like me to discuss on the podcast, comment them wherever you're watching the show. And that's that. So stay sparkly, and I'll catch you next time. Totals.